Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, one and all. A very, very warm welcome to iRacing and to the SMRC Lockdown Cup. It's myself, David Christie, Andy Alston, and the man, the myth, the legend that is Duncan Vincent, making his eSports commentary debut. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening, Dave. Good evening, Andy. Good evening, everybody. How are you doing?
Good evening. All good here. Really looking forward to this one, I have to say. 3 races tonight at one of the classic venues in British motorsport. What more could you ask for? I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, guys. So we are at round 1 then at Oulton Park, and Duncan, I know that you were kind of brought in with a baptism of fire last night and had your very first taste of this. What did you make of the practice session?
Well, we had a little bit of fun last night, Dave, didn't we? We watched John Gronkowski doing really well. Sandy Mitchell chasing him hard, and Sam Spinell as well. It was great. It was good fun. It was my first time being commentator for any sort of e-sport. I have an Xbox. It's very much not an iRacing platform, and I usually play Call of Duty, so I'm very sorry to everybody who's out there tonight. I'm more of a shooter, not much of a driver in real life either, but last night was great fun. We spent a good 40 minutes, myself, you, Dave, and also Michael Weddle, who was driving the track, giving us a little bit of in-car comms, and generally it was good crack. I really enjoyed it, and I was looking forward to meeting Andy tonight, one of my favourite circuits in the UK as well, to do an eSports Lockdown Cup for the SMRC from Oulton Park on the international circuit. It's pretty good in my book, mate.
Awesome stuff. Andy, what about yourself, Oulton Park? It's you were joining us last season for the consoles, and something a little bit different tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and it's good to see a couple of drivers from the consoles moving to join us here in the iRacing platform tonight as well, so really looking forward to seeing how a couple of the guys get on. I think this is a really interesting track as well to kick off this season. There's a couple of opportunities to make some overtaking manoeuvres, and I think the hairpin, that Shell Oils corner in particular, that's one to keep an eye on for. It's slightly banked as well as you make your way around it, and I think the key there is to try not to carry too much speed going into that corner and risk being dragged off. And again, another factor that's worth considering too is the track limit penalties that you get in this game. That's something we didn't see in the consoles quite so much, but the drivers will be penalised if they continue to go off track. So again, there's lots of different elements at play here, and it all makes for a very, very interesting championship ahead of us.
For sure. And Duncan and Andy, just to bring you up to speed, there is, as you just mentioned there's an in-game adjudication system, so penalty points are awarded for the likes of contact, and that is whether you caused the contact or somebody else caused the contact, to encourage people to kind of just give each other a little bit more room, and going off track as well. 16 penalty points, I believe it is, and that will initiate an instant drive-through penalty for the driver as well, kind of blowing a hole in the hopes of any potential championship winners for sure. We've got 3 races coming up tonight. We're about 5 minutes away from our very first race. Qualifying is on the go just now, so let's have a little look at the times just now. Sandy Mitchell at the moment, he is on his qualifying run, and what you'll see, guys, is at the top left of the screen you'll start seeing the times coming in thick and fast when we actually do get them in. But we've spoken a little bit about the names. Duncan, I'll come to you first. Is there anybody that kind of stands out to you in the practice session that you saw last night?
Well, Jordan, without a doubt, Jordan is a class act. He's a Scottish Formula 4 champion, and he's a hard racer on the track, and he's a hard racer, as we've seen, sitting in his sim rig, if we can call it that, up in Aberdeen. So Jordan, without a doubt. Michael Weddle, Sandy Mitchell, young Aidan Wilson, who I know as well, John Higgins Jr., who we could just call him Junior. I don't know if I've raced against his dad actually, but I've definitely raced his dad's car, his dad's legend car. John Higgins himself, a bit of a legend in the legend category, if you get me and understand me there. There's a couple of other names further down the entry list which I was looking at, Dave, as well, which jumped out at me straight away. Blair McConaughey, Adam Kindness, both drivers from Superlap Scotland, and have gone on to greater things. Ian Pittman as well is there, and Stu McFadden, who is an extremely fast man, who is one of your I'd like to say crew, Dave, and I don't know if that's the right word to use, but yeah, we'll keep an eye on him. And also car number 101, who is a good close friend of mine. He's a colleague of mine as well. Scott Smith, the Knockhill garage mechanic. He's one of the guys that looks after all the cars at Knockhill. And the instructors definitely keep him busy, trust me. But that's really some of the names that were jumping out last night, doing all sorts of stuff. I've got to say, Michael Weddle, and we had the name conversation, Dave, was it Weddle or Weddell? Rory Bryant did give me permission to call him Flymo tonight, so or any other comical name of lawnmower which are out there that could maybe feature in the chat. I mean, I was thinking Paulcast, but it's a bit of a mouthy one. Calling him Honda makes him sound a bit good. So Flymo's pretty good for Michael, but he's quick though. So I'm having a dig, but he's very fast.
Yeah, it's
on screen just now.
All in playful jest. And Andy, for yourself, as we said last time, you were on board for watching some of these guys in the console championship. Is there anybody that stands out for yourself? And I've got like a £5 note here on one name that I think you're about to mention.
Right, let's hope I get that fiver then. Cameron Evans, one to watch for me. I know he'll be keen to make a good impression here. That last race at Bathurst was one that will live long in the memory. Phenomenal performance from him. Aidan Wilson, again, a driver I rate very highly. Stuart McFadden, as Duncan mentioned, again, I think he's one to really keep an eye on here in this championship. And Sam Spinell, he's the other one, of course, our Race Motorsport Insurance Race Retro winner. He was driving in the Scottish Sea On Cup in October for winning that competition and did very well in there. And the interesting thing about that one is he had about 20 minutes of practice in the car, and that was it. Just go in and make your debut. So he'll be one to watch as well. Really looking forward to seeing how he gets on.
I've got to say here, I know we've got some celebrity drivers, as in, Sandy Mitchell, who's a factory Lamborghini driver in the GT3 world, but to have Tom Jones is something pretty special. It really is. 024 car Tom Jones in one of the Rethink racing cars. There's quite a lot of guys in Rethink, but Weddle and the crew have got Tom Jones there, so fair play, good stuff.
To be fair, it's not unusual to see him in here. Hey, there we go. That's 5 minutes in.
Yeah, I was thinking it was either that or he was going to be in the green grass of Old Hall, but.
Right, so that's it. So we've got segues all night for who comes up with the best puns. A very good evening to chat as well. It is Richard Smith, it is Andy Alston, Dave Christie and Duncan Vincent on comms tonight. You are absolutely right.
Is that Mad Marshall? Is that Mad Marshall, Richard?
I believe it is. Richard Burrows also on chat as well, saying, hi gents, great to hear you both doing some sterling work. Thank you very much to that. Hi to Zoe White, hi to Matthew Davis, to Mark Winus and to John Higgins, who is in chat somehow and yet driving as well at the same time.
That's his dad. That would be his dad.
Right.
John father. Junior is the son. So
there we go. Aaron Spencer as well, and Stephen Hay, the legend himself around Knock Hill, is here. Mr. 39 miles an hour is here in the flesh. Did that ever die away?
I think it was 38. I think
38,
yeah. It by 1 mile per hour there. But should we talk about, as much as I love Stephen Hay, and I actually generally miss Stephen Hay. Hi, Stephen. Sandy Mitchell, fastest man just now, at the top of the times, ahead of Jordan Gronkowski. I had a little geeky look at lap records round here today, and bearing in mind these guys are running a stock setup in the MX-5. A 52.009 for Sandy Mitchell is pretty hot, actually, to tell you the truth. The lap records, which you can find on any of the iRacing kind of forums or that around the place, they're probably like Wikipedia, where you can update them yourself. Ultimate lap round here, 50.9. That was October 2018. If you're in a 51 second bracket though, you're quick, and Sandy Mitchell is not far away from that just now, 2/10 ahead of Jordan, and then Jack Ayre 3/10 off the back as well. Michael McPherson, I didn't mention Michael, and I feel quite bad about that now, because Michael McPherson is a renowned single-seater driver, just like Jordan Gronkowski, but Michael's been down south more than he's been up here. Done a bit of racing for Kevin Mills in the Spectrum car and the Formula Ford 1600, and really a quick young man. So I'm not surprised that these guys are kind of filtering their way to the top of the top 10. But I'm looking forward to what Andy said. Cameron Evans, a driver that's completely new to me. I'll see how he gets on, currently sitting in 10th just now.
Excellent stuff. Well, we're in the final minute then of qualifying. It's currently Sandy Mitchell who is on pole position. A lot of drivers deciding that they have had enough, and it's a solo qualifying session, which means that they are the only car that is on track while they are doing it. The other cars are all here doing their own one, but they have their own individual track to themselves, so they can't complain about traffic and they can't complain about getting put off by anyone else. And you've got to say, Sandy Mitchell, that is a stellar lap, as we see. Rory Bryant, I did did promise I was maybe going to take it easy on him, but it's not going to happen. So there we go, guys. Here is your qualifying grid. And Andy, why don't you take us through the top 20?
Certainly, it's Sandy Mitchell on pole position ahead of Jordan Gronkowski. Jack Hare in third place, Michael McPherson on fourth. Row 3, Rory Bryant, followed by Stuart McFadden. Then it's Michael Weddle in 7th place, Aidan Wilson in 8th, Dale Smith in 9th, and Cameron Evans rounding out the top 10. Then it's followed by Martin Buchan and Sam Spinell in 12th place. Then we move on to 13th there, and the screen has gone slightly bloody, so please forgive me.
There we go, I'll jump in. 13th place is Egan Pashley, with 14th place being Scott Smith, 15th place Nathan Lamond, 16th place is going to be Vic Covey, 17th place for Adam Kindness, Gary Brown in 18th, 19th place for Igor Filipic, and Blair McConaughey in P20. Dunk, what about the final 20?
The final 20, I'll take it up from there. We have got Stuart Wyness in 21st, Scott Hunter 22nd, John Higgins Jr. 23rd, and Tom Davies in 24th place just now. Scrolling through to Peter Butcher, Robert McGregor 25th, 26th, Sam Dobie 27th, with Jackie Chalmers 28th. Struan Robertson is 29th alongside JD John Duncan, JD Bear all the way back in P30 there. J Cameron Ritchie 31st, and Jonathan Glover just behind him, 32nd. 33rd, 34th is Raymond Davies and Rob Spleen, with Tom Jones and I was going to make a Tom Jones joke there, I'm not going to bother, and Dave Noonan all the way in P36. Behind P36, 37, well, the race has started, so let's get on with that. It's come down towards the first corner, and Dave, it's all going horribly wrong straight away off the start line there.
Yep, it's been an absolutely dismal start off the line there. We did get caught up in the grid there, but Sandy Mitchell still in the lead. We've got absolute chaos kicking off behind there. Let's have a look who that is getting all caught up there. We've got a car off onto the grass and looks like retiring into pit lane. And not so good.
A lot of damage.
A lot of the cars just making their way through just now. And,
if I'm not mistaken, that's the Rory Bryant. That's the Rory Bryant car with a lot of front end damage of the grey and yellow car 27. Was it 27 in the middle of the pack? There's 42. It's one of Rory's teammates, car 42 there. That's Derek Smith, Minimax Racing. A lot of damage in front of that car. Obviously, that happened in the mid pack, and that's a corner we don't want to go missing, Dave. We saw that last night going through Island Bend. Back at the front, Sandy Mitchell. Sandy Mitchell starting to put a bit of a gap between himself and Jordan.
Certainly is. We're half a second between them now, Duncan. But Jordan Gronkowski, very, very quick driver. Well, it looks like he's had a little bit of contact.
He's done!
Falling down the order.
Jordan Gronkowski straight into the tyre barrier, and that is exactly, Duncan, you were saying that's exactly what you were told not to do, and he's pretty much banjacks his first race, drops himself all the way down to P14. Sam Spinell has crashed as well. Let's see what's happened with Sam here. It's on the exit of the chicane. It looks like possibly into the back of someone here. Just having a look. It's on the entry. And that's a huge moment, guys.
In towards his, it looked like he got turned around at the apex into that tyre barrier. I did catch Jordan. I think Jordan just dropped out on his own, actually. As rare a thing as that would be coming through the Britain chicane, Jordan making a mess here. And given a nice healthy lead to Sandy Mitchell now ahead of Michael McPherson and Stuart McFadden up to third place, guys. We did talk about how quick Stuart would be, but already in third place and making a bit of hay while the sun shines when people get caught up and have a little bit of incident. But Buchan's fourth, and Scott Smith, the garage mechanic from Knockhill, all the way up into P5. But a bit of a hot first lap there, Andy.
Certainly was, yeah. I mean, but it's ideal for this top three here. You know, we've got Sandy Mitchell, a gap of over 1.7 seconds now. But Michael McPherson and Stuart McFadden, they'll be looking to try and work together here to try and close that gap to Sandy and put him under a little bit of pressure here. But if that first lap was anything to go by, we're in for a real treat here in this opener.
Looking further down the field just now as Dave kind of scrolls through a few things for us. It's good to see John Higgins Jr. 16th with Jordan in 17th. We're looking at Jordan Gronkowski now chasing down John Higgins Jr. We'll just call him Junior, best thing to do. He's actually already deposed of Junior in the green car. And Jordan on a bit of a march here. It looks like it's Dale Smith, the next car that he's about to come up behind as they're coming towards the Shell Oils hairpin. Nice banked corner, that great corner. You can carry so much speed into that. And it's so important to get a good run through it and run towards Britain's chicane. But look how many cars are now in front of Jordan. If he can get through these cars quite quickly, he should quite easily get back up into the top 10. And can he battle for the top 5? Probably. I think, Andy, he could do that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I wonder if Jordan's attention will turn towards this race too, because again, the grid for race 2 will be determined by the finishers in this one, so he's still got a lot to play for. Wide here.
Scott Smith across the gravel, across the apex. Where you going, Scotty boy? Oh, he managed to stop that pretty impressively.
That is
Stephen Hay will enjoy that.
Quite impressive, that. Right, just a very quick note. You can safely ignore, for the most part, the timings up the top left. It'll say a lot of the drivers out. I was doing replays earlier and forgot to set the maximum drivers to 64, which means that it only sees 20 drivers at a time. So it will be fixed for the next race. But you'll see about 10 cars within each other, and there'll be the proper timing. So we'll keep it right.
I love it, Dave. I do. I really do love it. But look at this. Sandy Mitchell at the front here in the Black Bull sponsor car. It's a personal sponsor of Sandy. And I know he'll have all these sponsors on that car, as all these guys will have. The number 22 car, factory Lamborghini driver. He really is a bit of a sensation. He come to... I mean, I've known Sandy a long time, but Gordon Shedden stood up at the SMRC dinner many years ago and said, don't believe what you hear, believe what you see. And he was talking about Sandy Mitchell at the time. And this is when Sandy first came into the British F4 Championship. He'd done a year with Arden and did not too bad. Got up to speed pretty quickly for his first ever year, but he has just blossomed into being one of the best drivers and taken over the mantle of the British GT champion from Jonathan Adams. So happy hunting ground in the GT championship for Scotsman it is. But this kid at the front, 2.3 seconds up the road from Stuart McFadden. And McFadden, can he close that gap down, Andy? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one, won't it? He's certainly bringing the gap down ever so slightly. I was just checking the times there between the two of them last time out. Sandy was a 152.7, Stuart was a 152.9, so it'll be interesting. I mean, I think Stuart is really going to be one of the ones to watch in this championship. He's coming from a very strong sim racing pedigree. That team that he's alongside at the moment, Pure Sims, I believe Sutton's actually a member of that group as well, so he'll have lots of experience there to draw upon as well. But yeah, I think this will be a very, very interesting battle between the two of them in this opener.
That car number 81 with a lot of front end damage, more on the front right than the front left, is Ian Pittman, and Ian comes from the Borders area in Scotland, a Superlap Scotland racer graduating into the Mod Sports Championship. And Ian, well, yeah, carrying quite a bit of damage there. I would imagine that's not going to affect the handling of the car, David. Correct me if I'm wrong here, or does it affect it?
It can do, it depends. You do get two different types of damage in iRacing. You'll get cosmetic damage, which just makes it look rather ugly, and you get the handling-based damage that basically really makes life difficult for yourself. Now, I need to check something here because, again, because the time screen's going a little bit doolally here, we've got quite a few drivers that have retired from the race, including Michael Weddle, Aidan Wilson, Aidan, is he still on there? Sam Spinell, Stuart Wyness, Jackie Chalmers is out of the race as well. So, you know, this is a real battle of attrition right now, guys, and I'm just very quickly going to sort it.
Yeah, a lot of guys in the pit lane there. We could see they're 3-4 laps down. It looked like, I think John Higgins Jr. is one of the guys in the pit lane as well, that very lurid bright green car. Having said that, the timing screen is going a little bit wonky as the guys kind of get themselves kind of set up in some sort of routine. Adam Kindness is another man who I've been trying to keep my eye on as much as I can, watching up and down that scoreboard, but it's not very easy when they are all jumping about. But Kindness, a good driver. That's Jonathan Glover on screen just now in the 96 car. Jonathan has also picked up quite a bit of front end damage. As that, well, a lot of these guys have. That could have happened quite easily, Andy, on that start line. Now, Jordan Gronkowski, back to Jordan, who is just going in towards the Hislop chicane here. Where do we have Jordan? He's now up to P11, so what a comeback drive this has been for him, and he's still got a whole list of cars in front. And I take back what I said about Junior. Higgins Jr. is still in 9th place.
Yeah, good drive here from Jordan, I have to say, Duncan. He's really making his way through the field quickly. The interesting thing, you're talking about a couple of cars with damage in the front end of the car. I mean, yes, a lot of that will have happened early on in the race, but I think part of that as well is just look how close to some of these tyre barriers are to the inside of some of these corners as well. So if you take a little bit too much curb, you could quite easily be penalised.
Yeah, you've got to get as close to them as you possibly can. If you can remove the wing mirror, you know you're doing a good job. It doesn't, if anything, it might speed you up just that little bit there. But John Gronkowski, as they go in towards Old Hall, he's right behind Igor here. He goes up the inside. A bold move from John, takes a bit of curb there. That might bounce him wide, but no, he stays on the track. as we go on board, still with him down along the avenue, down towards Cascades, this long left-hander which goes away from you all the way before you go into Lakeside and head towards, back up the inside. That was a nice forceful move there from Igor. He was not getting pushed about by Jordan at all. Or was that Peter Butcher? A few cars going past Jordan now.
I think it was Peter Butcher that's just got past him, but we're going to jump away from this for just now because it looks like, excuse me, I'll go back to Jordan. It did say that there was a little battle for the lead, and we're back to this huge melee of cars right now. That's Peter Butcher, Igor Filipic, John Gronkowski, Robert McGregor, and I think that's Adam Kindness just at the back there.
The blue car with the Saltire cross on it will be Adam Kindness in his Track Scotland car. I got a little bit excited there because Sandy Mitchell suddenly disappeared. I don't know if you saw that, Andy. He suddenly disappeared and it said he was out on the timing screen, but maybe just a little bit of a glitch. I'll need to... Dave did warn me about that. I need to just calm down if I see somebody hit a tyre stack. Just chill out for a minute as somebody cuts across the Hizzy chicane there, and that looks like they're either retiring or getting well out of the way, but a lot of damage in the front of that car is back to the lead, in towards the last corner, Lodge corner, car 22, Sandy Mitchell, 2.8 seconds, so he's just extending that, Andy, just a tiny bit every lap.
He is, yes, and I did wonder if Stuart and Michael McPherson would have tried to work together just to play the slipstream game and close that gap to Sandy Mitchell. That hasn't quite happened. We've got those three cars spread out now, and that's music to the ears of Sandy Mitchell because that allows him to focus purely on the track in front. And with a little over 5 and a bit minutes to go in this first heat, he's in prime position to take all 30 points in this opener.
It's funny how a lot of people, if you're having a bad race, it's just easy enough to jump back into the pit lane, as we've seen quite a few people doing. But a couple of glitches kicking in here and there. But yeah, we've still got that mammoth battle from 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th place. But we should mention the top 5 as well, because you mentioned Sandy Mitchell, McFadden and McPherson. We've also got Jack Abrams, Scott Smith still inside that top 5 car number 101, but Scott Smith coming under pressure now from the white car behind him here, Blair McConaughey. Blair McConaughey, the Caterham racer, up and down the country, very fast Caterham racer as well. He will not be shy in putting a move on Scott Smith, but he's going to have to watch because behind him, that's car number 17. That's El Chairman, that's Vic Covey, and this could get kind of interesting because Vic Covey comes from the school of Mini Cooper racing. Bish bash bosh, and that's not a lawnmower term there, but that's how it could end up.
What are you trying to imply there, Duncan? That they're rough and tumble racing in the minis? Well,
you know what it's like. You know what it's like.
But the thing that I'm noticing as well is this battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th could very quickly become a 7-car battle. As Vic Covey very late on the brakes there into the chicane, manages to live and tell the tale another day. But yeah, this group behind him slowly catching him up of John Higgins, Cameron Evans, Igor Filipic, and John Gronkowski along with Peter Butcher as well.
Yeah, definitely is, David. I have to say, it's the good thing about this opener and it bodes well for this championship is we're seeing lots of interesting little bunches, little battles all the way through the field. We're not seeing a case where the field's totally splitting and it's a 1 and 2. We've got lots of, look in the screen here, we've got bunches of 2s, bunches of 3s. It makes a good recipe ahead here for this championship, I have to say, because here we are, as we ride on board with Blair McConaughey going into the Oulton corner. Is he going to try and make a move? He's got a car just along the medium there. Maybe that was a lap car that they're both making their way past. Not quite close enough this time to make a move, but he's going to try and get that slipstream and into Cascades, and let's see if he can get past this time round.
Well, we'll see as they're making their way round the track just now, and you can see just how wide Scott Smith is hanging that car out round Cascades here. It's on the run down through the second half of the circuit here, and what I love about this, guys, is the fact that Scott Smith, we've seen him quite a few times in the different championships as they head down towards Druids Corner here. What I love again is the fact, Shell Oil's Corner, is the fact that Scott really just leaves nothing on the table. Every single race, he doesn't play for points, he just throws the car around as much as he possibly can.
Well, he enjoys it, you know. He's a former bike racer turned drone racer turned sim racer. I said that last night, and he ran a little bit wide going through Shell Oils there. He left a car's worth on the inside, but Blair didn't stick it up the inside. I've got to say, I'm so impressed with how Scotty's driving here, but Blair's got to not just be attacking, Blair's got to keep an eye on the back, because Jordan Gronkowski's contact going into his there. He tried to send up the inside, he's turned somebody around, Dave. You'll get that in the replay. So race number 1 here going from bad to worse for Jordan Gronkowski in that number 33 red and black lines car. Has he? Well, we'll see a replay of it over the top of Hilltop here, down towards Hizzy's. Andy, what does he do wrong? Does he have a look at the inside? He does, doesn't he? Second car he got. Yeah, it was a second car. He'd made the pass, but unfortunately, he then caught the number 98 car, which is Cameron Evans. That's one of your tips for greatness. Cameron sitting the wrong way, possibly cursing in that car just now, but. Can't remember what I was saying about Scott Smith, but it must have been good things because he's my mate, so that's just how it goes.
No, he had a very good defensive drive there. Blair would certainly put him under a lot of pressure as we ride on board with Michael McPherson now. He's P3 at the moment. Let's see if he can just try and put Stuart McFadden under pressure here with a little over a couple of minutes left in this session. Again, I wonder, Duncan, does attention at this stage turn towards heat number 2? Because again, this is where the drivers, wherever they finish in this race, that's where they'll start race 2. So is it just a case of bringing the car home, P3, that's a good result, and some decent points on the board in this opener?
I think for the guys, if you're out there on your own, yes. For these 3 guys in here, they're still 100% focused about just somehow mauling the person in front of them to try and get past. And that's how it's going to be. These guys are still in a race. For Sandy, for Stuart, and for Michael at the front, they'll just be thinking, okay, this has been a good race, I've enjoyed this, everything's going to plan. For Scott Smith, he's hanging on by his fingernails. For Blair McConaughey, he's trying to attack him. And Vic Covey is just sitting at the back there, as I've seen him do for so many times, ready to inflict all sorts of badness to the people in front of him. But they're going to have to watch, because behind them, they've got John Higgins Jr. catching up in the lurid green car as well. But we are now into the last 15 seconds of the race. Jordan Gurkowski again in a bit of a stramash. There's a good Scottish saying as they come through the Hizzy chicane. And who was it with that time? Dave, another replay required for that one, but with only 10 seconds of the race to go. In fact, the checker flag will be getting ready for Sandy Mitchell as we speak.
Yep, here it comes then. Sandy Mitchell across the line for race number 1 to take the win. And he celebrates in style. Race 1 then goes to Sandy Mitchell. It's a great second place for Stuart McFadden there. Third place going to Michael McPherson. We didn't really see any of them during the race because it was so quiet for those at the front. Jack Eyre taking 4th place. And it's going to be Scott Smith into 5th place there. Blair McConaughey will finish in 6th place. Vic Covey in 7th. John Higgins in 8th. Igor Filipic in 9th. Adam Kindness across the line in 10th place. And what a race, guys. I mean, that was just wall-to-wall action there. I'm going to just very quickly cut to the Oulton screen while we chat about this, so we can go and fix some things here. A little bit of friendly touching there.
Fabulous racing. That was John Higgins Jr., if I'm not mistaken, touching Scott Smith. 24th up to P8 for John Higgins Jr. there, from what I make out. But Sandy Mitchell, I think you'll agree with this, Andy. Sandy Mitchell kept his nose clean at the beginning of that when everybody lost their head, and he just showed just how good a full package he is in real time, real life racing, and also in the sim racing. Credit to Stuart McFadden hanging in for a good podium there, and also Michael McPherson for a good, strong 3rd place.
Yeah, absolutely, Duncan. I have to say, one of the things as well, I think the key to that race was just keeping that car clean. You know, we've seen how many times, particularly in that first lap, did cars come into contact with each other, and I think with so many cars on the track at any given time here in this one, I think if you can just keep that car out of any trouble over the first couple of laps, then you can start to gradually make your way through the field, pick up a good point.
No, enjoyed that. My first ever eSport race. I suppose we could say that I've popped the old cherry on that one. I'm quite happy with that one. A good race. Bit of a carnage start. I don't really know what happened there. We didn't get that, but it definitely cost a lot of people. But race 2. So race 2 starting grid is from race 1 finishing positions, yes?
It certainly is. So we'll get the results up here in the grids for our next race just now. In fact, I'll go and pop that on. There we go. So this is the grid. We'll very quickly go through it because we don't have a lot of time, but it is as they finished. Sandy Mitchell, Stuart McFadden on row 1. Row 2 is Michael McPherson, Jack Eyre for 3rd and 4th. Scott Smith, Blair McConaughey, Vic Covey, John Higgins, Igor Filipic and Adam Kindness is your top 10. We've then got Rory Bryant, Cameron Ritchie. We have then got in 13th place Scott Hunter, John Duncan, Tom Jones, Gary Brown, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th is Robert McGregor and Peter Butcher, 19th and 20th is Raymond Davies and Egan Pashley. So without further ado, let's go and head track sides because we don't want to miss this one.
We don't want to miss the start, do we?
A minute left to go.
So we've got red lights coming on. We've got a full complement of red lights. Can Mitchell take this one down towards the first corner? It's a clean start, thankfully, by everybody. Nobody turns around. Sandy Mitchell disappeared for a moment. I'm pretty sure he'll come back. But as we go down through the first corner, thankfully, everybody has got through and all in one place. Stuart McFadden is the car in the lead. Where has Sandy Mitchell gone to? Maybe been disconnected there, unfortunately for him. As we hold our breath on everybody getting through here, through Cascades, because the first lap in the last race, carnage in there. Is that Vic Covey getting turned around as they go through? Vic Covey being turned around going through Cascades, and he's been joined by his teammate as well, and that's Derek Smith deciding that he wants to be very much in the back of Vic Covey. So unfortunate for those two guys, but yeah, a smaller bit of carnage, but we're underway, Andy.
Yes, we're underway. I think, guys, one guy we've not really spoken about much is Jack Eyre. Of course, he won the last Irish Championship. Currently sitting there in third place at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on, I have to say.
Yeah, we just saw a replay of that, Dave, trying to find a replay, but unfortunately the crash had already happened with Smith and Covey. But as we come over the crest off the hill, we have lost Sandy Mitchell from this one. Adam Kindness also dropping down the leaderboard, but Stuart McFadden under big pressure as they come in towards the Hezzy chicane for the first time of asking. It's car number 116 behind him, and that is Michael McPherson. And just behind Michael, right up the back of him, is Jack Eyre. So these three again at the front. And then we've got one of the Minimax cars just in fourth place just now. As you see that is Vic Covey, so it must have been another Minimax car. Could that have been Rory Bryant that we saw facing the wrong way earlier on, Dave Christie? It might well have been. And Junior currently in fifth place.
Well, given the state of the cars, I would very much think it is them. Look at the state of that. I think We Buy Any Car is going to have a problem trying to take that one in. But Brian, I mean, we saw him at the MX5 Championship last year. And it's a difficult one to say because he doesn't cause the accidents, but he seems to get drawn into other people's accidents through no fault of his own.
Well,
you hate to see it.
Well, you know, he's got that look about him, Rory, isn't he? As into the pits comes 41 just now. That's Cameron Ritchie, and a bit of a disaster for Cameron Ritchie retiring there. Didn't expect that. It did look like John Duncan was about to have a go at Rory Bryant towards Lodge, the final corner, and we'll try and keep our eyes on it at the time to see where that has gone. I'm looking for Scott Smith, but I can't see him in this one, but still at the front now, just starting to put a little bit of time between himself and Jack Eyre, who's got ahead of Michael McPherson there, Andy, is Stuart McFadden. And yeah, we both spoke about him at the start, didn't we? Just a youngster, 18 years old if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Stuart's had a really good start, I have to say. Jack Eyre hot on his heels though, and Jack's a very, very quick driver as well. But again, Michael McPherson just seems to be there or thereabouts. Like, he's had a really decent start to this race. I think it'll be interesting to see how Stuart handles this one though, because he's got two cars behind him. It's a tricky track to try and defend, I think. And one of the examples of that is some of the cars that we've had in the back of the pack have already making their way right through the standings here. So I'm just looking at the timings just now, Duncan. Michael Weddle up to 21st. He's up 18 places. I mean, that's a phenomenal achievement in 3 and a bit minutes. So I think the order, as it looks right now, could be completely different coming into this race.
Yeah, McFadden from Ayr and McPherson at the front just now with Vic Covey. I'm going to say I'm very impressed with the chairman just now. Vic Covey hanging in there extremely well, and he's got a nice 4-second gap behind him, so he's got absolutely no pressure to look in his mirror. He can really just try and focus on these guys in front. And Vic, well, he's cut his teeth in mini racing. He's had a great bit of success in mini racing. He can never get a car off the start line though. It doesn't work for him at all. It's usually a terrible start. But in sim racing, I don't know. Is it difficult? Can you fluff a start in these, or is it pretty straightforward stuff, Dave?
It's usually fairly straightforward. It's a case of just keeping your foot down on the throttle and the car picks itself up. The most you've got to worry about is a little bit of a wheel spin. It depends on if the drivers are using H-pattern gearboxes as well. For the majority of drivers, they've all got auto clutch on, which takes care of most of the harshness on the starts.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine they're absolutely fine. Just a small point actually about two things. One is Jack Eyre has just put in the fastest lap of the race. He just did, I think it was a 1:52.07. That was enough to get him pole on the first race there. And Stuart McFadden, he races for Pure Sims now. And remember Andy mentioning briefly. Ash Sutton. And I'm pretty sure that's actually Ash Sutton's sim racing team is Pure Sims, and the two of them used to race together quite a lot in the MX5s on it was a Thursday night league, I think it was, for British sim racers. I was actually part of that as well. I was just terrible, really had no pace whatsoever. But I mean, this is an amazing battle now we've got going on at the front.
I love your honesty, Dave Christie, I really do. Yeah, McFadden under huge pressure from Jack Eyre and Michael McPherson. Covey's drifted just off the back of this now, and it's probably a wise manoeuvre from the man, the elder statesman of the pack here, because this could get a little bit tasty as they come in towards Drews. Look at that, up the inside goes McFadden. Jack Eyre, on McFadden. That is a good power move there. Nice clean manoeuvre. Not an easy place to do that because the braking distance so short going in towards that corner. But a defensive driving in towards Lodge because he knows McFadden's going to try and come back but go round the outside. And will that leave McFadden lame for McPherson to get a run alongside him? He tries it as they go up over the crest of the hill through Deer Leap. But we should also look further down. 7th place, Sandy Mitchell has arrived back onto our timing screens in 7th place. And Dave, he was just as quick as Jack Eyre was on the last time round. So Mitchell setting fast laps, as was Jordan Gronkowski. But stuck down in 10th place for Jordan just now. But at the front, it's that man, Jack Eyre. And he is starting to put a nice bit of distance between himself and Michael McPherson. So McFadden's gone down to 3rd.
Yeah, I think a few drivers having a few connection issues, and what happens is, as long as they're connected to the server, and this is where it obviously breaks away from real life racing, as long as they're connected to the server, that's all that matters. We get to watch it and just pick up the bits and pieces. But yeah, I've got to be honest, I think Sandy Mitchell, to see the speed that he's closing in on, he's going to make very short work. Oh my goodness me, and that's Stuart McFadden off into the grass. You hate to see it. An error
out with Britain chicane there. Dave, you're the man with the keys. What did he do there? Or is it out of... Yeah, it's out of Shell Oils, and round he goes. Just a curb. Did he drop a wheel over the edge of that curb onto the grass, and round he goes? He will be kicking himself at that, but it looks like he managed to defend his position as he went in towards the Britain chicane. As you can see, the 47 coming up pretty hard behind him, and that was Igor Filipic.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
Now, that's a strange thing to happen, isn't it? We're not used to seeing him, from what you guys have told me. McFadden doesn't do that normally. He will be kicking himself just now in that.
He will be. He's going to be left to rue that mistake as well, because again, that could have major implications going into this third and final heat here of the evening. I dare say it's a move that's easy done. Blair Connicky comes into contact. That's a big incident there, and he's in the barrier for good measure as well. So
it looked like he... Sorry, Andy. It looked like he caught that apex tyre barrier there. Dave Christie is all over that replay right now. We can tell
that
you that.
That was the replay. As he also took out Jonathan Glover there.
Yeah, so unfortunately, not good for him. But Stuart McFadden has dropped down to 4th place, and that's let Vic Covey onto the podium now. Will Vic be getting a little bit sweaty palms on that Fanatec steering wheel he's probably holding on to just now? Will he feel the heart beating in his head? I would imagine he will, because a podium, the dizzy heights of a podium in eSport racing, is something that I don't think he's had as of yet.
It's not. He's been very, very hard in his chase for it, but it's eluded him so far. So he'd be absolutely delighted to take that if he possibly can.
So let's look for his teammate Rory Bryant just now, just to rub salt into the wound for Bryant. And well, I can't even see him in the top 30. Are you going to agree with that, Andy?
Rory Bryant is actually retired, guys. 38th place.
Look at this battle for the lead here. Michael McPherson and Jack Eyre as they go over the crest of the hill, coming down towards the Hizzy chicane, named after the late, great Steve Hislop from Hoyk. And Vic Covey just in a distant 3rd just now. But what has McPherson got for Eyre? Does he want to put it on the line? Does he need to put it on the line, Andy? Or will 2nd place do for him right now? I think he's going to have a shot.
I think he will as well, Duncan. Jack Eyre, though, he's doing a very, very good defensive job here around this final part of the lap. Michael's looking to put him under a little bit of pressure here. It'd be brave if he makes a move into here, I think, though. It doesn't look like Jack's defending it too much. Got that one covered for the moment as they make their way around to Lodge Corner, the final one of the lap. Will Michael have a little nibble this time round? He's certainly thrown the car out there. He's got Jack Eyre looking in his rear view mirror. He thinks better of it, and Jack Eyre lives to fight another day.
I think McPherson looks quicker from Cascades through to Hislops, and then Eyre looks a little bit quicker from Hislops back up round towards Cascades area. A lot of damage on Blair McConaughey. Look at that. He's almost remodelled the Mazda there. That 34 car is definitely going to have to get a good bit of panel beating done about that. as cosmetic damage definitely in key here there, but you can see exactly what happens if you decide to drive into one of the tyre barriers on the apex of a corner. He's just had Kieran Smart go past him, and we are now into the last 5 minutes of this heat number 2 here. And that number 98 car is one of the cars which Andy was talking about earlier on. That is the car we saw getting spun out, Cameron Evans, after Jordan managed to tag him at the Britain's chicane. He's in a bit of a battle here, and this could be quite a tasty battle actually as they go through Cascades.
Definitely, and again, if he can make his way past Tom Jones, there's a little pack there just in front of him. Scott Hunter, Peter Butcher, Jordan Gronkowski, all in that. So plenty of time for Cameron to make his way through the field here and potentially pick up a few more points ahead of the final heat here this evening.
Scott Hunter on screen just now in 10th place, coming through the Shell Oils hairpin, and he's got Peter Butcher and Jordan just ahead of him. You can see Jordan still in that battle. Now, who is that? That is Dale Smith. That's one of the Rethink Racing drivers again, and that's the guy that we saw spinning at Cascades on lap number 1 with Rory Bryant. What did he do wrong here? Oh, well, I've got to say, that's a shame for Dale. Derek, he didn't really deserve that. There's a car almost stopped on the exit the corner. Maybe he couldn't see it, who knows? But what do you think of that one, Andy? That was unfortunate for Dale.
It was. I did wonder if he was going to collect that other car though on the outside initially, just to the way he made contact with it as well. But I dare say he's not. It might sound a bit strange, but he's not lost too much time there, because that car could quite easily have spun round when it hit the barrier. So I dare say he'll be. He's obviously well down in the order, but
Car number 7 up there as well, Michael Weddle. Yep, Flymo doing his best to reseed the grass at the exit of the Knickerbrook.
I think that's his front left has just completely died. Yeah, I wonder actually if that's a hardware failure. No, actually, it's not.
Is, Dave.
Yeah, it's front left wheel, because the way that car just peeled off, he must have had some sort of issue beforehand. Here we go.
Is there a tyre barrier? Did he catch a tyre barrier or did he catch another car?
Yeah, that's what it's looked like. Looks like he's hit another car.
Oh! Unfortunately, he got hit by somebody else, but he maybe rejoined at a dangerous angle there. So, Michael, you see him, he goes in and has a moment there getting caught by somebody else. Car number 117 maybe? But look, Michael comes straight back on, then bosh, straight into the side of him, and that's not another lawnmower term. And the wheel decides it's had enough, and into the gravel trap he goes. Yeah, that was Sean Dumpy that's come into the side of him there, so that's going to be a DNF for Michael Weddle, guys. But 2.5 minutes left to go in race number 2 here, and it's still Jack Eyre. I think he's got the measure of Michael McPherson right now, and Vic Covey's quite happy to stay in that 3rd place. He's looking good, isn't he? He's managed to increase the gap at the front to what looks around about a couple of tenths of a second, and he's obviously happy with that. Michael McPherson maybe just holding back, maybe looking after his tyres. Is that something these guys have to do, or is tyre wear not on? Tyre wear will be on, but in a 15-minute race, the effect of it will be very, very minimal. It can do endurance races on here. Okay. As soon as you hit the sort of hour mark, that's when the tyres would go off, unless they've got increased wear. And Michael McPherson doing his best Flymo impression there as well. Yeah, he's still pushing. He's best to do a John Cleland impersonation there, wasn't he? So he's pushing very hard, we can see that, but we need to get them on super soft, sticky tyres, which last about 8 laps and then just fall apart. But that would make it a bit more interesting, Andy, as they're coming towards the first corner here. Yeah, it certainly would. Jack Eyre got a decent gap there. Michael McPherson, as you say, he's not going to give up easy though. Vic Covey seems quite happy there to sit and round off the final step of the podium. Just one guy I was keen to get your thoughts on, Duncan, as well. Jordan Gronkowski, currently in 6th place. He's made 19 places in this race, so he's had a very good one. And Sandy Mitchell now back up to 5th as well, so he's had a very decent drive. Yeah, good. A better second drive for Jordan than we saw him in the first one, as we see him going through Cascades there. That car just in a lovely little floating, not drifting, just almost floating through the corner. So 5th for Mitchell, 6th for Gronkowski, and 7th for Junior as well. I think that's a good drive for all 3 of these guys as they come through here in towards the Island Bend, one of the fastest corners that it's just an amazing corner. You do not want to go missing there. Scott Smith showed us earlier on in race number 1 what happens if you do go missing there. But Jordan, well, he's trying, isn't he? You can see the car stepping out of shape here as he comes and tries everything he's got in his notebook to try and catch up with Sandy Mitchell. But we're now into the last minute of the race, guys, so it's this battle at the front that's perfect. The director has really got his finger on the mouse here. He knows what's going on. Jack Eyre coming under pressure from Michael McPherson. Could this be the last lap? 30 seconds to go. Eyre running a bit wide on the exit Knickerbrook now. Yeah, but it looks like Jack Eyre's maybe, I think he might just have enough to see off
Michael McPherson here, Duncan. It looks like he's just a little bit too far back. Although Michael looks like, he's going to have a little dive as he momentarily disappears from the screen. Every hearts and every house. But I think Jackie might have enough here as we make our way towards Old Hall Corner for the final time here tonight.
Through the corner comes Jack here. The checker flag is ready. It's been a classy drive from Jack here. And he takes the checker flag ahead of Michael McPherson, pushed all the way, kept very honest. And it's going to be the chairman of the club who comes home for a fabulous third place. A shocking third place, I should say. Not shocking as in shocking drive, but I'm impressed with Vic Covey. Well done him there. Stuart McFadden, after a spin, comes home fourth. Holds off Sandy Mitchell, Jordan Gunkowski and John Higgins Jr. in seventh, with Butcher, Felipe and Hunter running at the top 10. Andy, classy drive from your man Jack Eyre there.
Yeah, absolutely was. Mark a champion, you could say, very, very composed throughout. And again, he didn't have it easy. Michael McPherson put him under pressure for quite a long time in that race. Again, I think it would have been nice to see Stuart McFadden involved in there as well. I think he could be left to rue that spin. But stage is set here for a great finale. And of course, we've got the top 8. It will be a reverse grid for them. So we'll have Peter Butcher starting this one from pole position.
Is there any way of finding out from Stuart McFadden what went wrong there? If that was just, it looked like driver error, but it looked like he just used a little bit too much of the exit curb and maybe dropped a wheel over the edge of it.
I think that's exactly what happened with him. Just looking back through it, the fact that he put the rear left wheel onto the grass, the car spins up on trying to get traction, and it's never really going to work for him, unfortunately.
Unfortunately for him, it dropped him out of a good podium position, and so we're going to get the top 8 reverse. So Peter Butcher will be on pole position, as Andy has just said, and that will put Higgins Jr. on the front row of the grid. And what it does actually, it would normally put like Sandy Mitchell and Jordan Gunkowski further at the back, but because he didn't have a very good race here, finishing 4th and 5th and 6th, it actually is going to put them quite near the sharp end of this one on the restart. I'm used to reverse grids with the Celtic Speed Mini Cooper Cup being part of the SMRC Championship. So reverse grids, as we always know, throw a spanner in the works, or it's like pulling a hand grenade and dropping it into a barrel and just waiting for it to go off. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully it's nice and clean.
Well, let's see what happens, guys. We're going to take a very short break for a couple of minutes. The drivers are away to go and get some refreshments. We've got a 5-minute break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, then, just in time for race number 3. It's warm-up going on at the moment, but it is, of course, the SMRC Lockdown Cup that you're watching just now, live and direct here from the virtual recreation of Oulton Park International. It's myself, David Christie, alongside Duncan, Vincent and Andy Alston, bringing you all the coverage tonight. And guys, it's been a breathtaking first 2 races.
Hasn't it just? It's like they've gone away in a flash. I think you'll agree with that, Andy. The first race had a lot of carnage off the start. The second race had a bit of carnage off the start, and carnage mid-pack as well, or mid-race. But deserved race winners, a reverse grid for the final race here just now. And I'm looking forward to it. Peter Butcher on pole. Let's see how this one unfolds.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this reverse grid is going to make this one very, very interesting. And I wonder, if you're Peter Butcher here, how do you approach the start? Do you just try and get through turn 1 and see how long you can hold off the chasing pack?
Absolutely. I get through the first corner and I weave like mad. Nobody passes me.
Can confirm, having stood on pit wall, that is exactly how Duncan Vincent drives.
Yeah, if you're passing me, you're going over the top of me. fair that way. So I do need to mention just before we start, Dave, that Junior's car, John Higgins Junior's cars, actually, it's a throwback to what his dad used to race when he was the British Legend champion. It's a car that was sponsored by U Pullet. It's green and white, so classic car, classic throwback colour scheme. I like that.
Right, Andy, we'll try that again. Hopefully you can see that grid a little bit better now this time, buddy.
No, if I'll do it as quick as I can in that case. Right, I've got Peter Butcher on pole position. He's joined alongside John Higgins, Jordan Gronkowski in 3rd place. Sandy Mitchell starts from P4. Stuart McFadden is on row 3 alongside Vic Covey. It's Michael McPherson in 7th place alongside Jack Hare. Igor Filipic is in 9th place, and Scott Hunter rounds out the top 10. And we've got Cameron Evans in 11th and Tom Jones in 12th. And again, I'm having the same issue. I'm afraid to say
as soon
I knew
as
that
it
was going to
moves,
happen, David.
Nathan Lamont in 13th place, Egan Pashley in 14th, Aidan Wilson in 15th, Robert McGregor in 16th place, 17th place is Martin Buchan, 18th place is Kieran Smart, and we are away to go racing. So we'll cut to the cars, and again, it gave us a minute's warning, and all hell has kicked off already. Right, already then, Peter Butcher into the leads, still into the first corner there. John Gronkowski. Oh, and there's carnage behind. Huge mayhem right now.
Yeah, so we unfortunately missed the start there, and there's been a little bit of carnage. Jordan has got a good start in this one as we hold our breath as everybody goes through cascades further back down. Scott Smith, one of the cars, 101, and there's a spin on the exit. That's the number 39 car. He's facing the wrong way. That's Kieran Smart, and he's down as a privateer, but he's got a lovely colour scheme on that car. But oh dear, there's somebody facing the wrong way with there's a bits of wheels missing.
Oh
with
no!
That car.
Oh no, guys! Look who that is with all the damage again.
Rory Bryant. Well, you know, it's never his fault. It's never his fault, but it's always his fault, you know. Bryant.
Retirees from the race: John Proctor, Del Smith, Scott Hunter, Cameron Evans already out of the race.
Yeah, but look at the front. Jordan Gronkowski has gone to the top of the sheets. He's ahead of Peter Butcher. So Peter Butcher trying to do as much as he can. That's Junior facing the wrong way. John Higgins Jr. He's trying to restart and he's got to not collect another car. He's spun coming out of what looks like the Britain chicane, formerly known as the Fulston chicane many years ago. But Junior will be kicking himself for that. But Gronkowski at the front from Butcher, Sandy Mitchell in 3rd, Stuart McFadden 4th, Vic Covey in 5th place with Jack Hare, the race 2 winner, in 6th place. Ahead of McPherson, Tom Jones, Egan Pashley and Martin Buchan round at the top 10. But look, Andy, look at the lead that Gronkowski's built himself up over this first lap.
That's been a stunning opening lap from Jordan Gronkowski, I have to say. That's a really impressive start. And the great thing for Jordan from his perspective is look at all these cars, 6 cars behind him, all battling out. That's given Jordan that time just to pull away from Sandy Mitchell, from Stuart McFadden. And that was, if he can build on this over the next couple of laps, he's in a prime seat to finish this event on a high.
Well, this is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for Jordan again.
Oh, and I think we've... oh, there we go. He's back. Welcome back, buddy.
Oh, he's lost me?
Yes, we lost you for just a second there.
I am definitely still here. I don't know if I muted myself or not, but I'm just saying we've been waiting for the Jordan Sandy show. We've now got Sandy Mitchell chasing down Jordan Gronkowski. Can he catch him? That's the big thing here. The Angel Wax red and black lines car goes through Island Bend towards the Shell Oils hairpin, chased by the Black Bull Whiskey factory Lamborghini driver for the Squadra Corsa. Not the junior driver anymore. Sandy Mitchell has been moved up. He will be a big deal in the GT3 world this year. And Stuart McFadden, he will be ruining that error he made in number 2, where he dropped it on the exit of Shell Oils hairpin and spun away a good safe podium. So it's Gronkowski. I see Jordan's name wrong almost every other time. Gronkowski, Mitchell and McFadden, your top 3. Ahead of Butcher, Peter Butcher. I did call him Pat there actually, I'm sorry. Peter Butcher's still hanging in very well in 4th place.
Yeah, I think Sandy Mitchell's just closed the gap ever so slightly to Jordan Gronkowski as well, Duncan. Look, he's had a very strong lap there, Sandy. And again, we've got the 53.
Oh, McFadden. That's McFadden, is it not? He's made an error there, or something's going wrong.
Yeah, right down the field, down to 7th place now, because he was 3rd. So that's something's gone wrong there. Maybe he's had an off, not too sure what's happened, but that's a bad one there for him. And yeah, we've got Michael McPherson in 5th, Vic Covey in 4th as well. So again, he's having another steady race as well, Duncan.
Yeah, Vic up the inside. No, he thought about going past Butcher there, but decided not to. I'm pretty sure our intrepid director is trying to find out exactly what went wrong with Stuart McFadden there, which made him so slow out of that chicane. And look, a little bit of forceful defending there on the straight there. That was it's not McFadden, it's car number 13, sorry, trying to get back up ahead if he can do. He's forced towards the pit wall. That was Jack Eyre. And Jack getting shown no mercy there whatsoever from that car, the number 16 car, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't have a 16 car on my entry list, so is it 116?
Yep, that's
why I don't have a 16. That's why I don't have a 16. Yeah. Sorry, Michael. I do know your race number, but yeah, and McFadden's now back onto the back of these 3 now. So it's a fast trio of cars, but Vic Covey back at the sharp end, still trying to get past Butcher. He's going to have to go soon, Covey, otherwise he's going to have a very fast freight train of young talent behind him coming up, and here goes Covey. He tries to do the cutback on the exit of Shell Oils. That's going to unfortunately put him on the wrong side as they come towards the Britain chicane here, unless he muscles it. Covey has to back out of that one, and now he's left himself lame on the exit of this corner, and here comes the junior train about to go freight training past them. They're going left, they're going to go right as they go over the crest of the hill down towards Knickerbrook. Covey will be ruining that attempt to go past. He's still fighting out for all he's worth as they come down towards the tyre barrier, but round the outside of him. What a classy move that was.
Contact from Stuart McFadden on Michael McPherson there. That was 2 cars. I don't understand that, because you just saw 2 cars going into the one corner there, making it work, but obviously not that time around.
No, that's the thing as well. This is quite a narrow circuit, this Oulton Park one as well, and I think when we bring a narrow circuit and 30 odd cars onto that track as well, it does tend to result in a couple of collisions. Let's just have a look back at this one now as we see Jack Eyre just collects them and no more. It's
yeah, and it was on the second part of it. It was on the second part of the corner. You know, it wasn't on the first turning. It was on the second turning. So a great shame that whether Michael didn't know, he just didn't give Jack enough room, or Jack couldn't bail out of that one quick enough. One of these things. This is Blair McConaughey in the middle of this. Michael McPherson trying to do the comeback drive now. But back at the top, Jordan Gronkowski has got an 0.8 of a second lead over the charging number 22 car, the Black Bull sponsor car. Now, Jordan, what are you doing? You have got just over half the race to go. You're looking forwards, you're looking backwards. Well, you've got to try and focus here, because the fast Sandy Mitchell is closing up. If Jordan can keep this round about a second, he'll be okay. As soon as Sandy Mitchell gets under that kind of half-second bracket, he's then on him, and Jordan has to start defending. So this right now is just a bit of war we're seeing at the front here for the first and second place guys.
It is, and Sandy Mitchell just posted the fastest lap of the race last time out as well with a 151.1. Jordan last time round was a 152.1. So Sandy's just gradually reeling in Jordan now. Wonder if he's going to try and hold off and make a move later in this race, Duncan. We've still got a good part left to go, just almost 7 minutes gone on the clock, so I wonder if Sandy's just going to bide his time here before he tries to get past Jordan Gronkowski.
I think Sandy will try and catch up as much as he can to heap as much pressure on Jordan, because he knows that Jordan's made a few mistakes tonight. If he can put a bit more pressure on him, Jordan wants to get a good result. There's more happening down there. That's Stuart McFadden again at the Hizzy chicane. It looks like he maybe run through the chicane there that time, Dave. Number 53 car, it's just gone from bad to worse for him. Unfortunately, it's just not working, but As you see coming down the hill, brake. I just didn't make the chicane. Unfortunately, braking a bit too late there. But also there was a bit of a happening in front of him, Andy. You'll have seen that there.
Yeah, I'd wondered that, and I wonder if that's maybe just distracted Stuart ever so slightly, and he's thought better of trying to make the chicane and just taking the escape road. But yeah, it's not been a good race, unfortunately, for Stuart. Currently 9th place in this one, and he's got Sam Spinell looking to hot on his heels here. Look at that, really looking to try and make a move here as he come down the straight and into the opening corner. Will Sam get a look up this time? Not too sure if he was close enough on that occasion. As we follow, look, that's car number 7, Michael Weddle, 19th place at the moment. Again, he's got a lot of pressure on Michael McPherson behind him. Two very, very quick drivers. Will Michael make a move? Looks, and he is. He's going for the inside. Can he make it stick though? Michael Weddle's got just enough speed. He's managed to keep that car in front. He's going. It looks like he's taking a bit of a defensive line there, and I think Michael Weddle's just managed to hold on to that position.
Yeah, Weddle being very aggressive with his defence there, and McPherson being very aggressive as he's still being with his attacking. So good to see that. Scott Smith goes through the shot. I was just going to say that Aidan Wilson was just off the back of Sam T. Spinell as well. So I did want to mention the T because I do like the Sam T. Spinell. I like that T in the middle name. But Aidan Wilson in 11th place just now, a man who's not showing too much tonight, but I'm pretty sure good things will come through the rest of the season. But this battle here, it's getting quite tense, isn't it? But look at this at the front now. It's down to half a second, and I did mention once it gets a half, and Jordan Gronkowski needs to start thinking about being defensive. 0.53 it is just now. Gronkowski's from Mitchell. They've got a nice big gap behind them to Jack Ayre. 6 or 7 seconds behind Sandy Mitchell is Jack, and this is pressure personified. There's a brilliant word. I can't believe I just come out with that, Dave Christie.
I'm quite proud of you, I've got to be honest. But yeah,
wow.
You're absolutely spot on. Sandy Mitchell now in the toe of that MX5 right now as they're coming through the second to last corner just now. And this has been a fantastic little battle that's been going on all through the race here. Out of Lodge Corner, over Deer Leap, and to start another lap with just 5.5 minutes left to go in this race. You'd be silly not to put any money against Sandy Mitchell taking this with the pace that he's got right now. But Jordan Gronkowski, we know he knows how to defend in the car. He's obviously very, very fast in the single-seater, Duncan, but he knows how to drive this MX-5.
I think Sandy needs to do it now. He needs to get the job done and not hang about here, because if he starts driving at Jordan's pace, it's ultimately going to hold him up. So this is not the place to do it, I don't think, into Island Bend. It's a braver man, and he's going up the inside to the Island Bend. Jordan knows he can run that round the outside any day of the week. Sandy is still on the outside here. Gronkowski needs to hold this tight. He can't run right through the apex of the corner, or that's going to let young Sandy get back underneath him, but no. So there's attempt number 1 from Sandy Mitchell. He needs to do it now, because if he doesn't, he falls into the trap of doing what Jordan wants him to do. If he can attack early, make the manoeuvre, make it pass, make it happen, good stuff. But right now, there is not much between them as they go over Hilltop down towards Knickerbrook. Great camera angle here from our director as they come in towards the chicane where, Andy, we've seen so much action down here today.
We certainly have. Lots of cars coming into contact with those tyre bars, and just look how close Jordan Gronkowski was there. He's losing all the track and a little bit more. Try and keep Sandy Mitchell at bay. Under 0.2 of a second between both of them now. Is Sandy going to look to try and have a move into Druids? Look how close. Bumpers almost touching, but Jordan's taking the inside line. That should be enough to see that he lives to fight another day here. And I wonder, will Sandy try and have a little move here into Lodge Corner? He's very, very close. Jordan going into the inside. That's the defensive line. Sandy's got the pace. He is ahead on the road. Can he make it stick though? No, Jordan Gronkowski got his braking point spot on there. Still got the inside line.
Apologies about that. We've had a brief internet drop out there. We're reconnecting back to the race, and we'll bring you back the Well,
can see it
better
now.
late than never, guys. I do heartily apologise for that. Our internet completely died off in the later stages of the race there, so we completely missed those last 5 minutes of the race there. Just to confirm, though, your race winner then, Jack Hare, takes the win from... sorry, excuse me. We'll ignore those results because those are the ones from race 1 there. Jack Hare then takes the win. That doesn't make sense because he was...
No, Jordan just popped up as a winner there from Sandy Mitchell. It was very, very close. So
there we go.
As you can see, that 900th of a second. Jack Hare in third place. So a good day. Finally, we got the two big guys, Andy, that we wanted to see at the front, but unfortunately, we didn't actually get to see them. But what a cracking race we did get for the other two.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Goncrossie, when we were watching him in that battle, his defensive lines were very, very strong. Sandy was putting him under a lot of pressure, and Dunk, you called it where he says, he's got to make this move now rather than sit back and wait towards the end of the race. But Jordan, credit to him, fantastic defensive drive. Jack Hare rounding out the podium 3.8 seconds behind, and it's Vic Covey in fourth, Peter Butcher in fifth. Sam Spinell, that's a very, very good final race for him, sixth place. He'll be happy with that. Stuart McFadden, seventh. Aidan Wilson in eighth. Egan Pashley ninth, and then Igor Philippe rounding out the top 10. So yeah, it was an interesting finale to that race, I have to say, and Jordan Goncrossie, he'll be very, very happy with his performance in that one.
I'd be absolutely delighted with that. So I'd like to thank you guys for having me along for my first ever SMRC eSports Lockdown Cup, round 1 from Oulton Park on the International Circuit. I've had a lot of fun. It's been good. Quality racing, and yeah, good banter as well from you guys. Thank you.
We got there in the end. Thank you very much for joining us, Dunk. Just before you do go, we do have a couple of drivers that we're very quickly going to have a little chat with. We've got Jordan Gronkowski,
cool.
Sandy Mitchell, and Scott Smith is hiding in there as well. We might have a little chat with him, but we'll take in your race 3 winner first of all, Jordan Gronkowski. Jordan, that was quite a race. You're going to have to describe us play by play what that final 5 minutes was like, because we got disconnected.
Oh, did you? Oh, dear. Speaking of the result, yeah?
No, we know the result, yep. How did it happen?
Well, you missed the best battle in the last 5 minutes. It was, my weekend start, or my weekend, no, it's not a weekend, it's a Wednesday night. My race started to go to tatties in race 1, obviously, when I put it in the tyre wall in the first lap. And that put me back. So because of that, and then because of race 2, obviously I ended up at the front for race 3. Got a good start, managed to get away. Managed to get by Pete, was it? I was racing early on, and then starting to build a gap. And then I saw behind me that Sandy was coming up pretty quickly through the pack as well. And I thought, well, if anyone's going to catch me, it'll be him. And sure enough, he wore me down over the laps. And then once you're within, half a second, the toe just makes up the rest, and he was just on me everywhere. So it was a case of defending. I had to apologise to him for missing a gear coming over the start-finish rate. I'm so used to in real life, but also in the sim, left foot braking and driving without a clutch. So with these cars, I'm having to heel and toe and change gears manually and clutch every time. It's I'm still not really that smooth on it. So yeah, a couple of times I missed gears, and unfortunately once Sandy was right behind me, so he got a face full of bumper. But no, I enjoyed it. Good cracking evening. I think I experienced everything we probably could experience in a 3 races. So really happy.
Good start to the season then.
I have no idea how we are points wise, but no, fantastic race. I mean, for to not have anything to do real racing wise, and then to come along, obviously SMRC yourselves putting on this show, it's great to be a part of it, and then to go in and have such great fun. As I say, I think I've experienced everything. I've hit something, I've been back in the end of the pack, coming through passing people, I've been back in the mid pack, and then starting at the front and taking a win as well. As I say, it's a complete roller coaster.
Jordan, it's Duncan here. How are you doing, buddy? It's good to see you racing online. I've watched you enough racing real time around the circuit. I've got to ask, we missed the last couple of laps of that. Sandy was a couple of tenths off the back of you, but as you crossed the line at the end there, he was 900ths off the back. So you've got to talk us through that last kind of half lap.
So, well, Sandy can probably jump in and correct me. I can't remember anything. The whole blooming thing was up there. But I think going on, was it the last lap, Sandy, that I missed the gear? Or was it 2 laps to go? Oh, you maybe can't hear me, can you?
I'll bring him in. We can actually get Sandy's point of view as well. There you go. Jordan, you can ask Sandy yourself.
Right, Sandy, you're a more professional racing driver than I am. Obviously, you can remember races, whereas my mind goes blank as soon as I cross the line. So the guys are asking about the last couple of laps. Was it going on to the last lap that I missed the gear, or was it 2 laps to the end?
I think it was going on. I think there was a couple. There was one before the last corner, and then one crossing the line. But the crossing the line one was where I got alongside, and that was going on to the last lap. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the last lap. So I, as I missed the gear going over the start and finish straight. Sandy, because he was right behind me, went into me rather than past me.
Yeah.
I kind of went to the left to apologise and not let him through, but to give him space because he was there. I think talking to him just now, I think I overcooked the turn 1 brake, and I think he did the same thing, and they both of us slid wide in the exit, side by side down at the Cascades. I think we're side by side around half a Cascades. I think I had the inside, so I got the drive down around the lake. And then I think was it the first chicane, Sandy, that I pulled out a few tenths, and then from there it was relatively stable until like the last corner again. We're side by side again into the last corner. So
yeah, no, it was great racing, and both left each other just enough room. So yeah, all good fun.
Sandy, it's Dunk here, mate. I hope you're okay. That was good racing. It was we'd been hoping to see the Jordan Sandy show because I'd watched a bit of it last night with Dave, and we were build it for the end there. But as you were catching Jordan down, did you have a game plan? I reckon that you're going to just, if you caught him, you're going to have to pass him straight away rather than try and fall into Jordan's pace and start doing what Jordan wanted you to do. Was that the plan?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult because I think if we both nailed a lap, we were virtually the same pace or within a tenth. So it was always going to be difficult to try and overtake. So we just had to wait on each other, making really small, not big mistakes, but just losing a tenth or two by getting the curve slightly wrong or something like that. And that was when the chances came up. But Jordan defended really well, and yeah, my plan was to try and get a run out of Cascades because I felt I was quite quick compared to Jordan there, but he was very fast in the first chicane. So yeah, I got the inside, but it's iRacing's pretty good for side-to-side action because you've not kind of got the marbles on the outside like you do in real life. So it creates great racing.